Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Sonoran Sky. And yes, it's that time of year where you could just smell the grass. Oh, with baseball fields. And we are happy to have on our podcast here this morning with us a very busy man, Eric Roberts. He is the field manager for the city of Surprise and out there at that great field, home of the Texas Rangers and the Kansas City Royals. And Eric, thanks for joining us here this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me, Paul. Appreciate it.
Well, first off, how's the field looking out there, buddy?
You know, we had some rain last couple days, a little more than we expected, but it's looking pretty good shape. We're pretty pure. We have a little bluegrass in there this year with the rye, so a little different feel out there, but it's looking really good.
Well, that is so cool. Well, this is a year-long job for you, taking care of these fields. And how many fields do you take care of out there?
So out here in Surprise, very busy place. We have 15 fields.
Wow.
13 are full-size baseball fields, 2 are half fields. And then we have 44 acres of overseeded grass areas. So then we have also common areas, we call them around the fields, bullpens and all that. So very large place. 12 full fields in the backfield. Both teams have 6 full, 1 half, and then we have the stadium field.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That keeps you busy, I'm sure.
It does. We even have actually a youth complex for recreation outside the complex that we take care of as well. So
very cool.
Out here in Surprise, we do stuff for the community as well as our partners, the Kansas City Royals and Texas Rangers. And then we even have Ottawa University here as well. So
wow.
We're very, very busy.
Wow. Well, it's a big day today. And what's your favorite part of spring training there, Eric?
You know, I would say the opening day. Fresh cut, we're working so hard for this time. And just, I get those jitters still, when you're doing something you love and you have all these people come to the stadium. Of course, they're saying how beautiful the field is, but getting that first pitch in, looking at the mound. It's not just the grass here, right? Most of the players are on the clay and the dirt, and seeing how everything plays, and it's just exciting opening day and having those early jitters of excitement of getting ready to go.
That's pretty exciting. Well, it's going to take place today and, of course, throughout the whole month. And, the preparation, I'm sure it takes a lot. How big is your team out there in Surprise?
So my team, I have 2 supervisors. One takes care of the Texas side, is the KC side. And then we have a total of 15 full-time guys.
Wow.
This time of the year, we have about 15 more part-time staff that work a few days a week to help us rotate, because once the major leagues start in the morning, the minors come out after. So we're actually re-prepping those 13 other fields at least twice a day.
Man.
So we a lot of moving pieces. I would always say the showcase in the stadium, what people don't get to see all the time, except for a lot of the fans that come out, is the backfields, how great the backfields look, where the work's really being done with their practices before they come play the game. So in the backfields, we're really busy. And so 15 full-time staff and then two supervisor staffs under myself.
Well, how did you get into this line of work, Eric?
So, when I was younger, I always, being out here in the desert, loved grass areas with trees. And in the 80s, there's probably less little parks that I remember. But I don't know. My first job, I went to a golf course and didn't work on the golf course, but I was intrigued with the beauty of having beautiful grass and trees in the desert. And then as I actually jumped onto the golf course, did a little apprenticeship, learned. It was tougher than I anticipated, but I caught on very quickly because I just love to be around grass and trees. And a couple of years later, found out about this place in Surprise in 2005 that had these beautiful baseball fields. And I've been here pretty much ever since. I did stop for golf for a couple of years, but just a passion of the green grass, and understanding how much work it takes to turn over fields and having that aspect of I've always loved sports, Paul. So being around sports and doing what I love, growing grass and making sure the mounds and home plates and infields are playable is just been my passion
That is
since I
so
can
cool.
remember.
Well, you're pretty cool, and I know a lot of people admire your job, and of course how great that stadium is out there. And I know you take a lot of pride in it, and especially opening day, just seeing how much all that hard work pays off. It's got to be pretty rewarding. Are there any special needs for different teams? Like, does the Kansas City Royals like certain things their way, and Texas likes their fields to look a different way as well?
So yes, and then no in some aspects.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is completely different. So when I go in the morning and go to the major league team and get the schedule on KC and then go to Texas or vice versa, every morning we do this. Started 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's different. The setup of the field is differently. Setting screens out, all their scheduling. Some are rotating. Some are staying on different fields. Yes, some players want more water. Some players, when you get into this, it's the stress level and the excitement all in one
Oh,
is pretty crazy because but they're setting up of the dirt differently. If we're having base running going into infields, we have to have it hard and softer aspect. We got to come back and drag fields. So the scheduling of both teams are completely different. If a team requests to play on a little bit slower, then I could raise up the turf height a little bit.
okay.
There have been times in the past where they wanted me to speed up the playing surface. But for the most part, Paul, I have a really good aspect of trying to keep everything very the same so both places look the same.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're cut down maybe a little bit lower than some of the other ballparks in the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like the playability there. And luckily, last few years, I haven't had any teams let me know if they wanted to change some things, but not saying that there's certain areas that need to be watered differently or dried out differently, or really when it comes down to the clay aspect of the infields of, yesterday I had a request and said, hey, this gentleman, one of the best baseball players in the world, wants the infield just like this. So that's exciting for me, but also at the same time,
Pressure.
Paul, I have to make sure that we have to make it that way today.
Oh,
So
gosh.
we have a lot of ebbs and flows with scheduling and what the teams want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I couldn't imagine the pressure of putting that together. And you mentioned some of the players you get to interact with, and back what was it, 2023, the Texas Rangers won that big championship, and against our wonderful team. But that was a big run right there. And did you feel a little pride? Do you become a fan of the teams that you work for? Were you rooting for the Texas Rangers, or being from Arizona, were you rooting for Arizona?
Well, I'm on a podcast. I was rooting for the Texas Rangers. Here, and I being the head groundskeeper of a 2-team facility, I always get those questions from both teams. It's kind of funny, right? My total. So when I watch baseball, Paul, to be honest with you, I'm really looking at the playability of the fields, how the mounds are looking. First of all, when I'm watching the World Series, I'm making sure everything's looking good. And it was looking good for the D-backs home, but I was rooting for the Rangers. I'm a part of them. I'm a part of the Kansas City Royals as well. So first and foremost, I do tend to watch a little bit more of the Royals and Rangers games and hope they do well. I always want the D-backs to do well, of course, too. So it was exciting to have that. And I do have a little bit of the infield, the little mound on my
do you?
over on my desk. I have a little bit of the material on the day,
That's
Game
cool.
5 at Chase Field on November 1st, 2023. Somebody scooped it up and put it in a little jar for me and brought it to me. So that's in my office. So, but I'm happy for the team's success, because successful for the teams lets us be a little more successful and surprise.
Yeah,
right?
that's cool.
if the teams do well, people are coming to the city. They're coming to more games. They're enjoying it. Just like if the D-backs do well, they're going to their spring training site and going over to Chase. So I'm rooting for both the teams equally. That's my job. I love them both the same, Paul.
That's a good answer there, Eric. I like that. Hey, do grounds crew folks, with you being a field manager, do you ever show up at a different park and do some market research and kind of, do you guys get a little judgmental and kind of gauge on how the other person's field looks like? You ever get out there and some market research?
Great question. So this is a small knit group.
Yes.
Right. We have Arizona and we have Florida. These jobs are hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always challenging each other.
That's cool.
And, we are sharing information. Hey, this is working well for me. Hey, this product here, fertilizer, is working well for me. Hey, what are we doing with POA control and pre-emergent control with the field? So yes, I talked to Marshall over at the D-backs. Yes, I talked to Kevin and Glenn over at Glendale for the White Sox. And then some guys were a little closer than others. We do try to get together once a year or twice a year. So we're just so busy. But those are the fun times because we talk about all our challenges are different. All our teams are so different. Yeah. Some are busier. Some have, it's just a little more intense. Some teams can be more intense. But we do share information. But of course, I want my field to be the best. And I think this year, our field here in Surprise is one of the better fields in Arizona.
Well, I could tell by the picture behind you. It's looking real nice. That's good stuff.
No, but we have great interaction, and you know what? I'm sure they would think the same way, that they want their fields to be the best in the country. And I will say this one thing, Paul, is I do want to put pressure on Texas and KC's major league teams. One has synthetic, and Trevor does a great job with the Royals over there, and they come down and see me. And I do want to represent Surprise as being a spring training site, but still playing looking like a major league facility.
Yeah, that's great. Any advice out there, Eric, to people like myself? I have a rough patch of grass. I live up in North Phoenix. What is the greatest combination you think works in a desert climate?
Okay. That's a really right, why are the dead spots there, right? What I would say is you have animals, then you have the different products.
Yes, we have animals, 2 dogs.
Okay.
And we got rabbits that roam through our yard too.
Rabbits are tough. I have those here as well. Mm-hmm. Those are, because they're usually picking away at the crown of the plant.
Oh, yeah.
So for anybody in the valley looking, in the desert climate, either up north, down south, east, or west, the first thing is you want to start with the soil. So if you have an existing yard, you want to make sure your irrigation's working properly. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure your timings are working. You want to cycle and soak, not just watering one time at night. You probably want to break that into 2 cycles, okay? So that you're keeping that moisture in the soil longer during the heat in the summer. And I would say that in the winter as well, at a lighter cycle. But if you're not overseeding a lawn, and you're going just Bermuda grass and it's going dormant, Paul, there's a lot of things that you can really do. If your irrigation's working, you got to work the soil, maybe putting a little calcium in there. If you have animals, especially with that urine, you want to put in a little bit of calcium, get a bag of some gypsum or something like that. And you want to treat those areas with some calcium. That's going to leach through the soil a little bit and help that urine pass through. And then you want to really use a pre-emergent a couple times a year to keep the weeds away, especially if you're not overseeding with ryegrass. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. And then, with people that are overseeding yards, Paul, and they're saying, hey, my yard's already looking good. Eric, how can I get to the next level? You really want to look at what fertilizers you want to use and what makes sense at different times. Guys always tell me, I see 3 numbers on the bag. That's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Mm-hmm. I always say, what kind of nitrogen are you using? You want to use something different in the summer. You want to use a urea, an ammoniacal type. And in the winter, when it's cold and you can't break down the nitrogen, you want to use a nitrate base that's available right away. And what people forget is you don't want to fertilize your lawn 2 to 3 times a year heavy. I would say short, frequent cycles of fertilizer, lighter. So if you're going, you're reading a bag and you're wanting to put out a pound and a half of nitrogen, you want to break that down to a half, and you want to do it more frequent. So,
Okay.
every 2 weeks, if you're going to do it once every 2 months, every 3 weeks, even if you want to do it once a month, then you're just keeping that grass growing consistently. I wouldn't be scared of mowing in Arizona with the Bermuda grass. If you're mowing and you're picking up your clippings, and with going back to the soil, I mean, I can go all day here, Paul, but going back to the going back to the soil, what I used to do when I was younger and I didn't have the equipment, and you're making sure your irrigation's running, and you're making sure you have good moisture in the soil, and your fertilizing is consistent. You want to take a shovel if you don't have an aeration machine, and you want to beat that into the ground a little bit. You want to slice it.
Smart.
You want to get aeration and water movement in the soil in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then you always can grab some bags of mulch and top dress that if you don't have sand and native soil, bringing a little more organic to that. And if you chop that up a little bit, you get some, especially if you have animals, especially if you have trees that you have a little bit of shade problem in, slice in there, try to punch a hole,
Smart.
do some of that, and move that water and get that air in the soil.
Great advice, my friend. And I know just asking you to do this podcast, right when spring training is starting, you guys put in some serious hours. And I know you've had your 10 to 12 hour days and even more some days there preparing for spring training. Do you keep upkeep on your personal yard? Does your lawn look great, or do you just have rocks because you're tired of working on the grass?
Okay, good question, Paul. I knew this was coming. Okay. I don't know if I want to say this live, but so when I was younger, I put a bent grass golf green in my backyard.
Whoa.
And I mowed that bad boy every single day. When I moved out of there in 2012 and I moved up in jobs and I was in the business for a long time, I needed a pool and I needed a fake putting green next to it. So that's what I have. I have plants in the front yard that are lower maintenance, very minimal in the backyard, low maintenance. My drip is running, very light. I usually hand water stuff and once a month. So I do take care of grass. I love it. I'm here so much, Paul. I get to see all the grass I want, all the different times of the year. This is my baby. This is my home.
Yes.
But when I get some relaxation, I don't want to be doing the work like I used to when I was younger.
I could just imagine, my friend. I could just imagine. Well, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and we really appreciate you joining us. If you're ever out there in Surprise, look up the man, Eric Roberts, and thank you for the advice of keeping a nice, fresh, healthy lawn. I'm writing down some of these ideas, and I'll do it myself. I love this.
Yeah. You let me know if you have any problems. Send me some pics.
All right, man.
All right.
He's Eric Roberts. Thank you, man, for joining us here on our Sonoran Sky podcast. We greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Paul. I appreciate it. Come out and see us in Surprise, everyone.
Love it.